God, the fucking beanbag chair is already making noise. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode. What are we on? 24 now? 25? 24 or 25? I don't know yet. We're catching up to my age. It would actually be kind of funny if for the 26th episode we wait for my 26th birthday, which is only a matter of as of recording this August 5th. So tomorrow it will be a month from my 26th birthday. Would have kind of been fun to like kind of, I guess, not come full circle. Well, that's not full circle, but just like have like a coincidental thing happen on my show on my birthday. That would be so like, that would have been perfect. I should have waited. Maybe we should do like a little hiatus for a little while. Maybe we do like, oh, maybe we're already coming up with great ideas for, like what would be a cool little, experiment with the show. Maybe we spend the next few episodes doing kind of like spin-off episodes while we wait for like the main season to return, like they do with trying to think of shows that like do that sometimes, or like different series that do that and whatnot, but nothing's coming to mind. Anyways, guys, this is My Tiny Little House, episode number 24. I believe we're on 24 now, actually, either 23 or 24. I think last week was 23. We are back we're back in the beanbag chair today, guys. That is we're kind of doing I thought it was going to be a lot colder today. It is still burning hot outside. If anything, actually, it's more humid. If you can't tell by the sweat perspirating off my forehead. Yes, we are on episode number 24 officially. Thank you guys so much for sticking with this show, being persistent. And if you go support us over on Patreon, thank you for the $5 a month. Helps me fund doing more fun activities and stuff like that over on our main channel, which I'm currently kind of trying to save up a little bit of money for an idea that I have. I've talked about it briefly on stream. I think I talked about it on last week's episode, but I might be wrong. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you'll just have to wait and see. Or tune into the stream, twitch.tv/TripShoes, live every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. If you can't tell, I did not sleep well last night. It's another insomnia episode where I'm recording this at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and I think I probably went to bed, not wet the bed. Although I might as well have wet the bed with how much I was sweating in my sleep. It's been so humid, it's so hot lately. It's just been so nasty outside, and I didn't go to bed until like 2 a.m. I had to like completely fatigue my body, completely just like I don't even know, what did I even do? Like I just like I literally just laid awake at night, just doom scrolled the entire night until eventually like I think my phone fell out of my hand and like hit the floor. Luckily still fully intact, no cracks or anything like that. This $2, what was it, $5 case that I got from Target is still holding up my phone pretty well. Nice little nice little thing to have happen there. Anyways, though, yeah, I didn't sleep well last night. We're in the worst. I think honestly, this is the worst time of year. This is like the most fucking humid. Like we're in like it's like the latter half of summer where it's like, okay, well, fuck you. You didn't suffer enough in May and June. Okay. And July was hot, but you know what? August, we're gonna make you really sweat. And at first I thought it was like a health problem thing, or like it was just like a me thing. But then I went back and I watched the first ever video that I uploaded to my main channel, which was about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And I looked exactly the same. I looked just really like sweaty, gaunt, tired, probably didn't sleep well that night either. So it's good to know that things haven't changed and that it's not a me thing. It's also a little bit disturbing to know that things haven't changed. That, we're still here. We're still on the bedroom floor making podcast episodes, making content and whatnot. I was almost debating doing another Q&A video. I just don't know when I would want to do that. Actually, I have an idea. I had a little bit of a theme for today's episode, and I kind of wanted to like put little feelers out because it's already August. And that means that October is only 2 months away. And I wanted to ask you guys, how would you guys feel about doing an entire podcast episode in October that's ghost stories? Furthermore, maybe I might even expand this idea to make it like a stream thing where like we do like viewer submitted ghost stories, or viewers submitted like scary shit that's happened to people. Obviously, like it has to be like paranormal to some extent, not like I got chased by a guy with a knife at the lake one time. That did happen to me. Actually, I got chased by a guy with a broken bottle at the lake one time. That was really scary. Because he thought I like was fucking with his shit Like, I don't know. I remember like back like 10 years ago, me and my friends, we would spend our summers like jumping into lakes and stuff like that. We'd find a spot with like a rope swing and we'd go there for the day. And I remember one day we were there and there was like another group of like slightly like older people than us, like probably in their like, late teens, early 20s. And I remember I remember like one of them was like this really weird looking dude. Like when like you look at somebody and you can tell that they're just like kind of aggressive. You can tell that they're like, maybe like I don't know, like the stereotypical bully kid in like a TV show or cartoon. That's kind of what it felt like. Oh God, shut up, LinkedIn. Telling me to get a job right now. I'm recording my podcast. Leave me be. Um, but those like people that just like look like they like just look evil. They look like villains and stuff like that. Like they're gonna fuck with you a little bit or whatever. That's what this guy looked like. And I think he thought like I messed with his like t-shirt or something like that, or some of his stuff that he had like sitting like, and he had like one of those he had one of those like gas station knives, like one of those like CSGO claw type knives, because those were really popular back in like 2015. And he started chasing me with it, and we had to convince him. Like me and my friends had to calm him down. We were like, dude, chill out, relax. Like it's not, yeah, we didn't touch your stuff, buddy. We don't feel like touching your stuff, man. Okay. And then eventually he calmed down. That's probably a really well-adjusted individual. I wonder where he's at nowadays. He's either in jail or he's working for the jail, one or the other. But yeah, that being said, I think on today's episode, I'm going to be kind of testing the waters a little bit with telling some spooky stories. We had some fun over on the Patreon with the July 2nd exclusive episode where I told some like fun little mischievous activities I got up to in my youth, including skipping class and vaping and whatnot, and all that other stuff that you do when you're a teenager in like the 2010s, which I can't wait until like 2035 or 2035, 2040, when like my time as being a teenager is going to be like nostalgic to them, in the same way that like to like millennials the 80s was nostalgic, and maybe to like Gen Z the 90s is like nostalgic even though they didn't live through it. It's like people who are born in the 2010s and like didn't live through it are going to look back at it and be like, oh my God, to be alive when PewDiePie was still uploading. Even he's probably still going to be uploading by then, but like, how old would he be by then? Like 2030? If he's like what? He's like probably 35 now. So what? Like, oh wait, 2030 is not that far away. 2030 is only, oh my God, dude, I'm getting so old. To me in my head, I was like 2030 is like a decade away or something like that. Damn, bro, it's like 4.5 years away, dude. I'm getting old, dude. I'm getting old, but I'm still same old me, little old me. But yeah, I wonder when they're going to make like nostalgic movies about it. Like, I wonder when they're going to do like a Stranger Things reboot, but they're going to have it take place in 2010 and everybody's going to have like iPhone and everybody's going to be watching Markiplier and stuff like that. And instead of it being like a Demogorgon, it's going to be Freddy Fazbear chasing these kids around and whatnot. Anyways, hire me to write that. Actually, let me write like a Stranger Things reboot in a few years. Like once the 2010s become what the 80s were to like the 2010s, if you know what I mean. Like the how much of a gap in time is that? Let's go like 1980 to 1990, 2000s, 2010. So 30 years. In 30 years. So really in about 20 years. Actually, I guess 15. Well, no, I guess, yeah, about 20 years. In 20 years, let me write that. I'll make that work. When I'm 45, I will write the Stranger Things reboot that takes place in the 2010s when I grew up. I will have them. I will have the Stranger Things kids all be stand-ins for me and my friends growing up. And we will get chased by, the only monster in it is going to be Freddy Fazbear and the guy who chased me at the lake with that knife one time. I got to make the Google form then. Originally, we were going to do... Okay, so originally this podcast episode, I was going to do... if you guys don't know, I send out like Google forms and stuff like that in my Discord server. And I ask people to like submit questions and stuff like that. And then we do like a Q&A. We don't do it over on the Patreon though. We usually do that on for like YouTube videos or like for like a Twitch stream or whatever. But I was thinking about doing it like... I was thinking about answering the questions that I thought I didn't answer from like the last Q&A video, which was filmed back in, I think like January or February. I was thinking about doing that today on the podcast, but then I was like, I went through the Google form and I'm like, I've already done all these. That are like, some of them are just like such dumb joke questions. And it's like, Do you have a penis? Is your butt big? You know, do you like feet? And it's like, yeah, we can spend all day doing that. Oh, actually, no, wait. One of them was actually really nice. Actually, there was a really cool question that maybe I don't know. Maybe if we run out of content, we can answer that question. It was Lego related, and I was like, oh, that's right up my alley. I love Legos. If you can't tell by the various Lego sets behind me, which I got to dust off again. You know what we should do right now? We're 10 minutes into the episode. I'm going to plug the Patreon, guys. Patreon.com, my tiny little house. $5 a month, you get bonus content. 2 bonus episodes a month. The fuck was that? Did that pick up on the mic? I hope that picked up on the mic. It sounded like I think that was the fucking Demogorgon, dude. That kind of sounded like the Demogorgon. I think we're getting attacked. Anyways, today's word of the day is contentious.
Contentious.
Contentious. Wait.
Contentious.
Contentious describes something that is likely to cause people to argue or disagree, or that involves a lot of arguing. When used of a okay, so it's like contentious. Sorry, I almost said contentious. No, it is contentious. Contentious. I don't know why I almost said contentious. Bit of a regular word. I feel like I use that at least like once or twice a week. Like, oh, very contentious situation here. There was a very contentious situation at the lake when that guy thought I touched his t-shirt or what. I don't even remember what he thought. He thought I was like fucking with his stuff. And he was like, oh, you little rascal, I'm going to chase you with my CSGO knife. I'm going to CSGO surf towards you and get you with my CSGO knife. And then Freddy Fazbear is going to jump scare you or some shit like that. Freddy Fazbear would have probably saved my life actually in that moment. And they would have had a contentious argument. When you don't sleep, you can't talk properly. It's really weird. Anyways, we already got the Patreon out of the way. If you want, by the way, bonus, 30 minutes to this episode. That's what we do over there. We do 2 bonus episodes a month and then 30 to 40-ish minutes of bonus content. Although I will say I believe that the second July episode, from like last month, from like 2 weeks ago, was actually very long. Actually, one of the longest, I think, in terms of just it being like a regular podcast length that we've ever done. So go check that out if you want more content. It was a good episode. I was having a lot of fun doing that one. In fact, in retrospect, I'm kind of regretting not going back to the park and filming there. Because it's really hot in my room. I honestly, again, like I said, I thought I kind of wanted to have like that moment in like a TV show, like a sitcom, or like, I don't know, like a Family was not Family Guy. Oh my God, Full House, or like any sitcom like that, where like the main character comes back home and it's kind of like a reunion episode. Guys, we're back on the floor in this beanbag chair that I haven't sat in since. Let's find out. I do want to find out, when was the last episode that I sat in this fucking beanbag chair that barely holds me. Because we've been doing like episodes either in my car or at the desk. We got desk episodes. Oh yeah, I forgot we did like, oh my God. It was 3 months ago. It was back in April. We have not sat in this chair since April. Late April, granted. It's already August. The 2 A months. AA. April Anonymous. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. That joke was going to be kind of dumb if I made a fucking AA joke. Made an AA joke only 15 minutes into the podcast. Was there anything else I really had to cover? Oh, I watched a really shitty movie. In fact, I think I've watched the worst movie I've ever seen. And I thought that was taken by, originally I thought that was taken by, what's it called? The Better Boy. What the fuck was it that I watched earlier this year? I did an entire podcast episode about it, I'm pretty sure. Oh, The Unbreakable Boy. That was the movie that I saw earlier this year. That was so bad and so self-absorbed and just, I thought I'd seen the worst movie. And I think in terms of like, I think this year has been like a great year for movies in the sense that I've both seen some of my favorite movies this year and some of my least favorite movies this year. I think I found that perfect balance between like, that's actually something amazing about this year so far, but something has taken the cake for the worst movie that I've seen this year. And it might be actually my least favorite movie of all time. Like I don't want to sound like I'm reiterating what Moist Critical said in that like one video that he made about it like yesterday, but I saw that pop up. I was taking a shit at Target. I was in the Target bathroom. I think they were blasting Mambo Number 5 by Lou Bega. while I was taking a shit, and I saw the notification pop up on my phone that was like the worst movie I've ever seen or whatever, or like the worst movie I've ever seen situation is crazy, as he says, or whatever. I saw that pop up on my phone, and I was like, there's no way we both agree that the War of the Worlds 2025 Amazon Prime version, remake, whatever you really want to call it, because there's like the Tom Cruise one from 2005, which I personally really liked that when I was a kid. I remember watching that when I was like, again, 5 or 6 years old, and really liking it, and my parents were like, oh wow, okay, this is kind of like an intense movie. I really liked it. So what happened was, on Saturday I got home, and my brother was watching it on the couch out there, and I was like, what is this? Why is Ice Cube like on FaceTime with you on our TV? And then eventually it just kind of like, the movie just kind of sucked me in, because I'm like, this is so disorienting to watch. And eventually over time I'm like, oh fuck, this is the new War of the Worlds movie. Like, or I don't know what they're doing. Is it like a sequel? Is it a remake? Is it in the same lore of the, I don't even remember. Like, it was such a blur to me. I had to drink this, I didn't have to drink it, but like, I think when you're watching the worst movie ever, there's something that kind of like pushes you towards the fridge to grab. And by the way, very delicious 8% alcohol blue slushy, like drink from this like local place that sells them. Very delicious, but very much the like the payoff to watching the War of the Worlds 2025. It's such a bad movie. If you want to go watch it for yourself, I'd say click off the podcast, mute it for a little bit or whatever. I don't know when I'm going to be done talking about this, but it's so disorienting to watch. So if you don't know, the movie is told entirely from the perspective of like an iMac or like a MacBook screen, kind of like what I got right here. And it's almost like that movie. Was it called Unfriended? No. What am I thinking of? It was like the Skype movie from like 10 years ago, or like fucking 11 years ago, or some shit like that. It was like told from the perspective of a computer screen. And it's being like, it's still like, it's zooming in on different parts of the screen as things are happening. And it's so nauseating to watch. It's like actually being on like a roller coaster. You know, there's like those teacup rides at the, amusement parks and whatnot. It's like being on one of those. It was that disorienting to watch. And that wasn't the alcohol talking, by the way. No, I found out this movie was disorienting far before I had taken a sip of any alcoholic beverage on Saturday night. I was just like, this is actually the most disorienting movie to ever watch. On top of the fact that the writing's bad, the dialogue is diabolical dialogue. There we go. There's our little rhyme for the day. We always do like a little rhyme on the podcast now, don't we? That's what we like. What else? What else about the movie was really bad? I remember just glossing over it and going, the entire time I was like, I'm waiting for them to just like, just do like a huge fart joke or something like that, to be like, oh, it's a joke. Like, we're fucking with you guys. This movie sucks. The plot of the movie is that in order to stop the aliens, if you don't know what War of the Worlds is, it's like an alien invasion movie. But in this one, the twist is that in order to stop the aliens, they have to take down the government, and it's trying to be like a government bad Watch Dogs, like, the Watch Dogs like video game franchise type thing, where it's like stay aware of the government, guys, and you need to hack things, and hacktivism kind of was like a big part of it. It was just so like, I might have to rewatch it just to like fully encapsulate myself into the plot again. Cause I remember so many times having to get up from the couch and just like take a lap. And it takes a lot for me, for a movie, for me to like get up from where I'm watching it, take a lap, because of either it's because the movie is so good that something happened in it that like, that's very rare for me. That like a movie is so good that I have to like get up from where I am and just walk and process something. More often than not, though, the reason I'm getting up to walk around is because something was so bad I have to process it. This movie, I was constantly getting up to process how bad it was. The action just doesn't work because it's being again, there's never once, I don't think the movie ever once broke from the perspective of like the MacBook screen. It's being told as though like, that was the other thing that was very confusing to me. Who were we? We're like the audience watching this? That was the other thing that I found very confusing. Granted, I think I missed like the first 5 minutes of the movie. I I think it's sitting at a fat 0% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, though, which is really funny. Also, sorry if you hear my phone vibrating. That's not your phone, that's my phone. It was in my butt. It's been digging in my butt. Which, by the way, I want to say I was an early adopter of that joke, the digging in my butt joke. And now it's caught on, you know? I was ahead of the time. I was ahead of the trend. But yeah, War of the Worlds 2025. I think at the end of it, it almost, I feel like I vaguely remember the end of it. I remember having to like, I think I had to go watch like, what movie did I watch later that night to like refresh my taste buds? I think I watched Spirited Away. Yeah, I watched Spirited Away like after that movie to like cleanse my taste buds, be like, let's watch a good movie. Let's watch something that's actually really good that I really enjoy. Although I did find a lot of joy out of watching a bad. I am one of those people. I think I've talked about this before. I love a good bad movie. And I don't know. I still don't know. I think maybe I'd have to watch it one more time. I don't know if War of the Worlds 2025 is good bad or just bad bad. Well, it's bad bad. It's a bad movie. And it's also like, again, it's Amazon trying to tell us that, like, trying to be like government bad and take, you know, stay aware. What was like, there was like a tagline to the movie. Well, wait, hang on. Wait, there was a tagline to the movie that's like really stupid. Hold on a second. Let me Google this so you guys can like be aware of how awful this was. The War of the Worlds 2025. Not the, no. 2025. My phone's been slow lately. I probably got to get a new phone soon. Oh no. Fuck, what was the tagline to it? It was so stupid. The film was okay. Here's the Wikipedia page for it, though. It says that the film was panned by critics and received a rare 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, granted, Rotten Tomatoes not the best place to go for movie ratings, but a 0%'s kind of wild. I would actually like to meet somebody who thought this movie was good and was like, actually, it's really good. Also, again, another thing about it that I just absolutely hated was just the dialogue. The dialogue is so unserious and so like almost Marvel like quippy at times, where it's like I'm gonna take down these aliens or something like that. It would just be so like. By the way, Ice Cube's character, and I forgot what his name was, he plays like the head of the Department of Homeland Security, and he seems so like not invested in it. He seems so like almost as if he's just dealing with hackers or dealing with like something so like there was no stakes to this movie, and it was so weird. It's so stupid. I think there's a character in it who like as she's introduced through like a phone call on the computer, her name is like Jane NASA or something like that. And I'm like, this is so, oh my God, this is so funny. Like that part where she calls in and, you know, her name is saved as like Jane NASA, like she's the head of like a part of like NASA or something like that, was so funny to me. I like to imagine like my headcanon for that character is her name is actually Jane NASA. In fact, I want to check the cast. I wonder if they just like, I really hope that her name was just, wait, what was her name? Was it Sandra? Oh, it's Sandra. Dr. Sandra Salas, Will's friend who works at NASA. Okay. Oh my God, dude. The movie is just, go watch it if you want to. It was definitely a bit of an experience. And then it ends with it being like it tries to be like this whole thing about like watching the government, being aware of what the government's doing. But it's also like Amazon made this movie. Amazon funded this movie. This is out on Amazon Prime. It's hard for me to take that seriously when it's coming from Amazon of all people. Oh boy. Yeah, no, that took the cake for like worst movie I've seen this year. In fact, I almost want to say that like, again, this is going to be kind of a movie heavy episode. And then I think I want to tell a little spooky ghost story, just kind of plant the idea in your guys' brains about scary stories, for October or something like that. I think we're going to do some like Halloween themed stuff. Why not though? Like, why not? I think that, like I said, I think that like, this is the first time ever I'm going to say that like, I've been a tie, and I don't like doing this. I like to be like definitive of like, this is my least favorite movie. This is my favorite movie of like each year. I think I'm going to like definitively say that like my least favorite movie is a tie between War of the Worlds 2025 and The Unbreakable Boy for two separate reasons, though. Like, both movies are bad for separate reasons. The Unbreakable Boy, I did an entire podcast episode talking about how awful this movie was and how self-congratulatory and missing the point, so to speak, the entire movie is. Meanwhile, The War of the Worlds is just poorly written. Bad perspective, too. Like, the idea, like, if you're going to tell a movie from the perspective of, like, a MacBook screen or, like, a computer screen, you got to handle it really well. And the perspective of the character that is, like, being portrayed through that thing has to be interesting. In my opinion, God, what's that movie called? Is it called Unfriended? I want to say it's called Unfriended. I'm going to look it up. Unfriended. Yes. The first one, in my opinion, was very fun because, well, I mean, it's scary, but like, it's very fun because it's like, oh, it's a bunch of like friends hanging out like in a Skype call or like, you know, what I guess nowadays would be like a Discord call or something like that. And then like they get like haunted by like a ghost or something like that and it kills all of them slowly. Like, that's interesting. And that's like, that's fun. And that's like, that works for like kind of the supernatural aspect of it. But like, it's hard to believe that the Department of Homeland Security, like the head of the Department of Homeland Security, is like telling his perspective from like a MacBook is really difficult to do and is also just like a risk that like isn't worth taking. Anyways, I don't know, like it would have been, I think honestly, a better idea if you wanted to like tell War of the Worlds nowadays is like do it from like the perspective of like a vlogger, like make David Dobrik go do it. Fuck that guy, by the way, but like make him go do it. Send him out there with a camera. Make an actual, tell you what, here's a better idea. Make an actual alien invasion contact aliens, make an actual alien invasion happen, like in our world, in real life, on Earth, and then just kick David Dobrik out of his LA mansion and be like, go, this is your punishment for all that you did, pal. You have to go encounter and vlog aliens. And it's him looking, he has such a dumb face. I'm sorry. I'm going to roast David Dobrik real quick. And I don't like making fun of people's appearances, but like, you know, it's David Dobrik. You guys can make fun of my appearance. Everybody already does. I already get enough comments in my Twitch chat about, from like randos and like even comments on like my YouTube clips about how awful my hair is or, you know, whatever. David Dobrik just has this look of like, I don't know, just this stupid smile, like that, like face that he always does, like that. He almost has like the epic face. Do you guys remember like the epic face from like fucking 2011? He almost like always is perpetually doing that every time he's on camera. Send him out there with that face, you know, and go make him vlog a bunch of fucking aliens invading us. That'd be way more entertaining than anything he's ever filmed. Way more entertaining than anything I've ever filmed. I'm not saying I'm any better, but you know, anyways, yeah. Oh God, my throat's getting, I have, you know what I do have? Nobody tell my sister that I have this, but I stole this from the fridge downstairs. This is a mug. There's no caffeine in this. Why am I drinking it? It's a mug root beer. I would do the meme, but I don't want to be too loud. Anyways, back to what I was saying. And then I didn't like War of the Worlds for that reason. I think if you're going to tell a story like that, if you're going to do kind of like a, dare I say, found footage thing, make the perspective interesting or make it something that like is believable. I'm sorry, I don't believe that you're telling the story of the head of the Department of Homeland Security through a MacBook. That is not believable to me. Have it be like a daily vlogger. I'm not even joking. Have it be like fucking, what's his name? Shay Carl. I can't say the name of his original channel, what he used to call himself, because I think I'll get in trouble. I don't think I'm allowed to say that. But you guys know, if you know who I'm talking about. Have it be him, have it be like a family vlogger and they get attacked by aliens. Come on, that's way more interesting. They have to hide in their like big mansion or something like that, and their fucking McMansion. Do that instead. If we're gonna do this nowadays, do that instead. None of this unbelievable crap. Anyways, yeah, and I already talked about why I didn't like The Unbreakable Boy. It's just a self-congratulatory movie that misses the point and also totally demonizes autism as like a disability. I don't know what the proper terminology is. Disability disorder. I mean it in like the nicest way possible. It demonizes something that shouldn't be demonized, in my opinion, and that's how I felt about the movie. I was like, wow, this is really kind of insensitive, and very self-congratulatory. Especially because the movie is not about the boy, it's about the father. Anyways. My favorite movies of the year, though. I mean, we still have time though. I've heard Weapons is really good, although that's not out officially yet. But I've heard from like people who've seen like early screenings of it. Weapons is a really good movie. That's by the guy who did Barbarian, and I'm actually I saw clips, not clips, but like I saw Barbarian in like broken up parts, and I've heard it's really good. At least from what I saw from Barbarian, I really liked it. It's by this, I think it's by the same guy, and I'm excited to check that out maybe later this week. Excuse me. Oh my god, that mug root beer is kicking my butt. Back to what I was originally saying though. I know it's kind of like early in the year to be doing like a year-end review of movies. Kind of what I'm doing though. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, you know what, maybe for like the Christmas special, I will do like a, you know what, an updated version. You know what? I was wrong. My two favorite movies and my two least favorite movies. No, there was two stinkers that came out later this year. Maybe one. Maybe we will break the tie with like an even worse and an even better movie. My favorite movies of the year so far have been Friendship and Mickey 17. I don't think I really need to say anything about either of these movies. In fact, I think I already talked about Mickey 17 in a previous episode. It's just a cool little fun sci-fi movie. The only real gripe that I have with it is I wish it explored the ideas of the different Mickeys a little bit more. And I wasn't too big of a fan of like the last portion of the movie. I felt like maybe it was kind of a weird way to kind of tie everything up, but it does eventually wrap itself up together in a really nice way. Granted, not in a way that like I thought it would, or in a way that like I guess I expected it to, and it didn't, I don't know, didn't quite scratch the itch that I wanted it to, but it scratched an itch nonetheless. You know what I mean? And then Friendship. Friendship is just a great movie. Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd. I really liked it. I thought it was, I don't know. I felt like that was kind of what I was looking for as somebody who's a big fan of I Think You Should Leave. We haven't had a new season of the show, in a very long time. At least, I mean, it's been like, what, like 2 years, I think, since the last season. I hope we get another one soon, but yeah, no, Friendship was fantastic. I thought it was, it's a good balance between like thriller and comedy. Like it's like a very serious situation, but with very absurd characters, at least a very absurd character. And obviously if you know Tim Robinson, you know how he is and his whole shtick and whatnot, in like a very serious situation where his like wife gets lost in a sewer and, his friendship falls apart and whatnot. It's a crazy movie, totally worth watching. I'm not doing it any justice by explaining it. But if you're looking for something like that, go check those movies out, and then go check out the worst movies and tell me what you think. Maybe you think I'm a bad person because you think that my least favorite movies are actually the best movies of the year, and my favorite movies are the worst movies of the year. Please educate me. I can't wait till some film bro hits me with an actually in the comments and goes like, actually, you're wrong because I'm right and I studied film, and actually The War of the Worlds 2025 is actually an allegory for Fight Club, the best movie ever made, or some, I don't know, some bullshit like that. Please somebody actually comment that, and please make my day, please. Please make my day. Please make my day. Anyways, that was my movie time. Fuck, dude, we spent so much time talking about movies on this episode. Damn, dude. I'm still sweating up a storm in here. Like I said, I can't run. I kind of expected to be cooler today, and I thought we were going to be able to do like a return to form episode, but I'm cooking in here, man. It's hot. It's humid. And by the end of this, I'm going to have to shower before the Patreon episode. I'm going to look like a big wet dog or something like that. Or Patreon portion of the episode. You know what I mean? What else did I have to talk about? Oh yeah. I want to plant the seed in your heads. Some ghost stories. Start thinking about scary things that have happened to you. Paranormal things, the unexplainable. I want to plant the seed in your heads so that you guys start cooking up some ideas so that we can do something cool with that later on in the year, especially around the Halloween season. You know? Sorry. That was so fucking embarrassing. I'll never do that ever again. In fact, if I ever do that ever again, I will take an entire shot of spicy pickle juice to the eyes. Not drink it. I will pour it in. I'll splash it in my eyes. I did a shot of pickle juice before this podcast episode because my legs were sore, and I heard it's good for like soreness and whatnot. I don't know where I don't know where I read that or where I heard that. I didn't even bother like researching it or looking it up. I just was just like, you know what? I like vaguely remember hearing about this. I'm gonna do it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you know what? Honestly, quite frankly, I think it worked. Hey, look at there. You guys can see the bottom of my shoe. Look at that. Here's my little feet. Okay. Anyways, sorry, audio listeners, you don't give a shit about that. Man, what's a scary story that I want to share? I want to kind of save them for later on in the year though. So when we fully get into it, but I want to kind of wet your whistle right now. Oh, 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 I remember this one. So years ago, probably about, I want to say 2016. Again, we're telling so many stories from when I was like a kid, when I was like a teenager. We've been just going down memory lane lately, but this, let's jog down memory lane once again after I Sigma mug root beer. Oh God, that is so good. Please sponsor me. I need the money. Oh, it's really stuffy in here too. Jeez, if I sound sick, it's not because I'm sick. It's because it's really fucking stuffy in here. Back when I was like 16 years old though, there was this one friend that I had, and he lived with his grandma in this really like pretty old house. I think they had it for like a couple of generations in their family. And we would always go over to his house to like hang out and, do what, teenage boys do, a little bit of that, you know what I mean? I remember one day, it's probably like a nice summer day in June. We were standing on the backyard and it was kind of like starting to get dark. Like the sun was setting a little bit. It was like past the time of like, you wouldn't say it's still light out. It was like dark enough that like, it was like, oh, it's getting a little hard to see. We might like turn on some lights outside, but it's like, it's not pitch black outside. We can still see for the most part. And we're just hanging out outside doing what we do. And then one of our friends, he like looks up at the window. Mind you, this was a really old house that like many, many people have like lived in. And I remember he like points up at like the window. He goes, guys, who's that? And for context, this house had like there was a basement to it. And then like, so, okay, I'm not going to do a good job of explaining this. There's a basement and then like to the right side of the house was like the second floor from the perspective of like the backyard. Right side of the house was like the second floor. And then on the left side of the house where like the basement would be like beneath it was the third floor. So it was like a zigzag kind of shaped house. That sounds really weird, but it like looked like a normal house, but like the layout inside was like a zigzag shape of like floors, if that makes sense. And my friend, his grandma usually didn't go up to the third floor. Because like, again, she kind of had like issues being like mobile and whatnot. And we knew for a fact that she was on the second floor. She used to spend a lot of time on the second floor in like the living room. I think there was even like a bed somewhere in there for her and whatnot. So she wasn't usually on the third floor. In fact, it was again, like I said, it was very hard for her to like get up there. So we're like, again, we're standing out there and we see what would be like, I think there was like a guest bedroom. And we see like a figure looking through the blinds, like very clearly like that. We're like, oh, that's like a person. We're like, who's that? Like, who's inside right now? And like, we look around and we're like, everybody who's here is like outside right now. Like there's nobody who that could possibly be. And it's definitely not his grandma. Like that does not look anything like we would be able to identify that it was the grandma. It was just this figure just like watching us. And then like, once we had all like turned to look, the blinds closed really quickly. And we were like, what the fuck? And the rest of the night, we just felt really scared. We were all like really like, really, I don't know, really shooken up. Like it really killed our vibe. Maybe it was because, we were all high or something like that. I don't know if that like, maybe that had like an effect on it. Maybe we got like laced or something, but still really fucking freaky. And I mean, not to mention there was so much other shit that happened in that house that was like paranormal and haunted feeling, honestly. Ooh, excuse me. There's the ghost coming out of my body right there. You guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? I'm scared. Anyways, I want to like wet your whistle with that. I love a good like scary story. Actually, I have one that's kind of funny. Another one, if you would be ever so inclined. I have many more stories about that house though. I don't know if I want to tell them here though. Some of them are actually pretty freaky. But one time, I think it was after my drunk karaoke. Whenever I did the last drunk karaoke stream, which was like a long time ago. I haven't done. Maybe it's been like a year. I don't think I've even done a drunk karaoke stream this year. But when I woke up the next morning from the drunk karaoke stream, I was a little groggy. I was a little hungover, and I stumbled out into like my living room. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go put food in my stomach. I gotta go eat, like drink some water. Get myself revitalized, re-energized, and whatnot. For the day that I have ahead of me. Really big mistake doing that. Doing the drunk karaoke stream, that is not helping myself. And I walk out into like the kitchen, or I walk out into like my living room, which, like, if you don't know, in my house, when I leave my room, I go down a hallway, and at the end of the hallway, like peering around a corner, I swear to God, I saw like a fucking, like the face of like a gremlin or some shit like that. Like it almost like blended in with like the floor, like the complexion of this person blended in with like my wood floor. And I was just like, I was like, what the fuck? And like, I swear, like I blinked a couple times and I saw it like go around the corner, and I was like, what the fuck was that? Did I just see a fucking demon? Like, granted, I was super out of it. I was super like, all things considered, pretty hungover. And I checked around the corner. I'm like, what the fuck? And I swear I heard something too. Like I heard something like skitter around the corner, like little feet going beep 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 beep. Like I don't know. Maybe I saw maybe it was like a like a soot sprite, but not made of soot. What is like I don't know, a wood sprite. I saw a sprite of sorts, a gnome, a gremlin, a goblin. I don't know what it was, but it was really scary. It was probably just me being hungover and like my mind playing tricks on me. Cause like, I don't know, like you also get like sleep deprived. If you guys don't know this, whenever you drink, if you go to bed drunk, you're not actually getting like regular sleep. It completely fucks up your, like, what is it called? REM cycle or something like that. It completely fucks up your REM cycle. So you don't actually get like quality sleep if you go to bed. If you go to bed drunk, you get like half sleep, essentially, is what it is. You're not fully rested when you wake up the next morning. So it very much could have just been my mind playing tricks on me. But that was that was my little ghost story. I mean, I would like to hear what you guys have. Like, have you guys ever like encountered a ghost, a goblin, a ghoul? Maybe you were playing with what is it called? The thing with the Ouija board. Maybe you're playing a Ouija board with you and your friends one night, and something spooky got spelled out, and it told you that you were gonna die soon or something like that. Which I don't know. How do you guys feel about those things? I'm not one of those type to be like. I'm not like. I don't believe in. I don't think I don't believe in ghosts, honestly. Like, I don't think they're real, but like, if I see a sign of something freaky like that, I'm not gonna I'm gonna take it. It's kind of like, I forgot who I was watching, but they mentioned they're like, I'm not religious, but if I ever see like a sign, I'm not like religious or spiritual, but if I ever see like a sign from the universe, I'm gonna take it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Anything like that though, really. That's, I don't know. Maybe that was my sign from the universe to be like, don't ever do a drunk karaoke stream again. That's really embarrassing and cringy. And admittedly, the drunk karaoke streams are very embarrassing and cringy, but they are fun and they are funny. They get a lot of people laughing and giggling and having a good time on my awesome Twitch stream. Hold on. I really gotta like find a more intuitive way to drink beverages on this show. Goddamn, I'm gonna have to take a break in between the Patreon and like this recording the Patreon to not only charge up the camera. I forgot that's kind of the problem with doing episodes on the bedroom floor, is that I can't plug in the camera so that it stays consistently charged while I record. And I can't run my AC, so I'm just like, I'm here in a stagnant. Maybe that's how ghosts, latch onto us, is when we're in like transitional, stagnant periods of our lives, and nothing's ever changing. That's when the ghosts and the ghouls kind of, they can latch onto our energy and possess us. Maybe you're possessed right now. Maybe something's possessing you to watch this episode of the podcast. Maybe you felt you were sleeping in your bed and you felt a cold chill go over your body, and then you shot up out of your bed like Dracula out of a coffin, and then you like zombie walked over to your computer, turned on your computer, and put on this podcast, and now you're in full sleep paralysis mode watching this episode. Oh, sleep paralysis. I think a lot of the scary shit that happens to people, like when they say like, they're like, I woke up out of my bed in the middle of the night, and I saw a ghostly apparition. Like, you had sleep paralysis. Like, that's your brain tricking you. You know what I mean? Maybe all of this podcast episode that you're watching right now is sleep paralysis. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. You're having sleep paralysis. Wake up, wake up, wake up. You're having sleep paralysis. But I think a lot of it is like whenever somebody tells me a story of like I saw like guys, I don't know, like I back when I was a wee little boy, I saw a creature at the end of my bed. It had big long claws, and I'm like, yeah, you had sleep paralysis, pal. Welcome to the club, idiot. And I've had sleep paralysis. I think like I've had sleeping problems ever since I was like 13 years old. I used to stay up. No, actually, probably like 11 or 12 years old. I've always had like sleeping problems. I used to stay up like really late watching. Used to stay up really late watching Tobuscus on my iPad, on my iPod Touch, and I would stay up so late that like there was a few times I think in like 8th grade where like I would stay like I didn't get any sleep the night before and I'd go to school and I fell asleep in class like I want to say like probably about 4 or 5 times I would fall asleep in class and they would send me to the nurse's office. And there's nothing scarier, honestly, than waking up at the nurse's office in school, not remembering why you're there. Like, it's almost like the equivalent to like, it's almost like the childhood equivalent of waking up in the hospital. Although probably waking up in the hospital as a child is like even scarier. But like, to me, like waking up in the nurse's office was terrifying. And that happened to me like a handful of times because I wouldn't remember like asking to go to the nurse and like be like, I need to fall asleep. Like I need to go sleep. I stayed up all night playing. One time I stayed up all night playing Scribblenauts on my fucking iPod. And I was in one of my like elective classes in middle school. And I remember I was like nodding off like, ugh. And like, eventually I was like, I'm going to pass out. And I asked the teacher. And then, mind you, at this time, the 2 main games that I was playing was Scribblenauts, which is like, a fun little childhood game. Haha, so cool. I type in little word and it appears in the game. It was Scribblenauts, and then it was Amnesia, which is a fucking horror game. And if you don't know, in Amnesia, you kind of just like wake up somewhere. You don't really know what's going on. And that kind of like planted it in my head when I woke up in the nurse's office. I was like, oh, where am I? Why is there a poster of the food pyramid there? You see a pyramid and you think you got fucking abducted by aliens or some shit like that. It's just a fucking food pyramid. Yeah, no, that's a pretty scary story. But I think a lot of the time, a lot of the like the scary shit you see is like pretty easily explainable, except for that window situation and the blinds and whatnot. Who was that? Who was that mysterious stranger wandering about that house? We don't know to this day. And maybe if you were the mysterious stranger, maybe it was you during, what's it called? Not sleepwalking. Maybe you were sleepwalking and you were having sleep paralysis and you were like, I'm going to go check in the backyard. And you saw a bunch of ghosts of teenagers smoking weed. Sorry, that was us. Anyways, though, I feel like a lot of the times whenever people tell these stories, I'm like, yeah, no, you're just having sleep paralysis. Like it happens. It's scary. It's scary, but at least know what it is. Like, I had, I think the last time I really had like bad sleep paralysis was not last night, but I get like, I'll be like aware that I'm falling asleep sometimes. Like sometimes I'll be so exhausted that like, I'll like realize that I'm falling asleep and like, I will like, my consciousness will just like kind of like shift from like being awake to being like, oh, my body's asleep. Oh my God. And then I drift into like just being, in like some dream world or something like that. That happened to me last night. Where like I like slowly began to fall asleep and I'm like, oh, yep, I'm falling asleep. And then I like not wake up, but like I realize that I'm like somewhere. And in this instance, I was on this like really like tall, narrow mountain, almost some like, not backrooms type thing, but like the hills with like the houses. You know what I'm talking about? If you guys know anything about the backrooms, you know what I'm talking about. Like one of those like liminal spaces. That's what I'm thinking of. Like a liminal space kind of thing. And I was on top of this really tall hill. It was really scary. And all of a sudden the weather started to pick up and it was like almost like a hurricane was hitting me. And then I looked over on like the other side of the mountain was a Five Below. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a bougie or dollar store. Not bougie as in like it's like, you know, fancy stuff, but it's like bougie as in it's more expensive. And I'm like, oh my God, it's my only shelter is a Five Below. And then I got in there and there was a guy throwing a huge fit. And then I woke up. I woke up 3 hours later in a cold sweat, and that cold sweat has not stopped. You see my forehead? I'm still perspirating. Yeah. Ooh, boy. It's been an interesting, it just sucks when like, I don't know. It just sucks when you know you're not going to be able to sleep for a night. You know what I mean? Like you know that you're going to be like, you know, you're going to be up and you know that you're going to get like the worst quality sleep. And then your next day you have stuff to do because you're an adult. You got to, you know, power through it and whatnot. But all you want to do is like lay in bed all day and not do anything and like recover from, you know, not sleeping well. And sometimes it's the worst thing to do. Sometimes the worst thing to do is like lay in bed all day, and not do anything. Cause like that will also lead to being like, well, I'm not tired because I didn't go anywhere. I'm only tired because I'm tired from the night before. Like I didn't expend any of the energy that I like recovered, even if I feel like off for the day. You know, that's how I'm feeling a little bit today, though. So I'm like, I got to get up. I got to go record the podcast. I did go to the gym earlier. That's also why I'm a little sweaty, is I did go to the gym earlier, and I really do desperately need to shower. Probably in between now and the Patreon exclusive version of the episode, which, by the way, guys, if you'd like to go and swing on over to the Patreon right now, it's $5 a month. You get bonus content, extra half hour to 45 minutes of content per episode. And usually we get a little more personal over there on the Patreon. I feel a little more comfortable talking about things going on in my life and whatnot, over on the Patreon. Also, I think we get a little bit goofier, a little bit funnier over there. So if you like what you saw here, there's plenty more where that came from over on our Patreon. Again, only 5 big ones a month to you know, pal around with me and be silly and goof off. And maybe we'll tell another little ghost story that I've been saving. Ooh, spooky. But yeah, I also want to plant the seed in your heads of, you know, start thinking of scary things that have happened to you, ghost stories and whatnot. Maybe you got haunted by a pet that you used to have that came back, which that would be kind of sweet, honestly. If like you had like a ghost dog, like Zero from what's that movie? Nightmare Before Christmas. That'd be kind of cool. You know, if I were to be haunted by anything, I'd want it to be like a previous pet. That's like the least threatening thing, you know, to be haunted by. Not like an old sailor at a lighthouse. It's like, oh, there's my puppy. Hello. Not puppy as in like the puppy that I have. Like, I don't know where she is actually. Maybe she's in the afterlife already. Maybe the ghosts grabbed her from the ground. The ghouls and goblins grabbed her from the ground and pulled her down. And now she's going to come and haunt the next, the Patreon or something like that. That'd actually be so funny if I like did a jump scare of her or something like that over on the Patreon. Again, over on the Patreon is where everything is. Also, we do a Urban Dictionary word of the day over there, so that's very fun. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of My Tiny Little House. Episode number 24. That's right, yeah, 24. And we're already... Damn, I feel like we're so behind. I feel like we should have so many more episodes out. But, you know, we missed a couple weeks. We also... It just is what it freaking is, man. It just is what it freaking is. Overall, though, I've been having fun doing this. I feel like we're kind of getting back into the groove. I think you're going to start seeing me here a little bit more. I'm glad we did. I don't want to say that we're like done doing the episodes like, you know, out in you know, a field somewhere, or like I was actually thinking about asking this pumpkin patch not too far from my house when the gourds start to grow and the goblins start to giggle or something, you know, around that time of year, I was going to see if I could record an episode out there, because I think that'd be kind of fun. That would be good for the ghost stories, is if we told, like, we did maybe like the first round of the ghost stories there. That could be really fun. Anyways, I will see you guys over on the Patreon, or not. Maybe I will just see you next week here on the YouTube channel or on the Spotify. Please remember to like and subscribe, and do whatever it is over on Spotify that you do to promote a podcast. I don't know. Ooh, am I a bad viewer of the podcasts that I watch on Spotify? I might be. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Go get haunted by a goblin or a ghoul or a ghost. And go eat some toast. and make the most of your day. Hashtag Bay. Fuck this shit. All right, bye.